Well, it starts back that I was born in Hobbsville, North Carolina. And when I was 2 years old, my father was a carpenter, an undertaker, and a farmer all at the same time. I was about 12 years old before I knew there was anything besides bologna for breakfast. Because it's 5 and 10 cents a pound, and eggs were 10 cents a dozen. And I remember those days very well.
Huge amount of pressure as the number one, supposed to be an example for everyone as to what to do, how to behave, and stuff like that. And my parents had a tendency to pick everything that we did. Well, during my first year of college, I, behind their back, went and joined the Marine Corps. They all joke about it now. My mother's brother, my uncle, said, "Oh, what the hell, there's no war going on. What can happen with it?" And then, of course, that was the very beginning of Vietnam.
We had been in Somalia for like 2.5 months by the time October 3rd rolled around. So they knew I was gone. In fact, they were coming to visit us for my son's first birthday, and they did come because we left the day before his birthday. And so when they showed up, I was gone. So they knew something was up. They just didn't know what. And then when October 3rd rolled around, the coincidence is the first time we were allowed to call home was October 2nd, and the day before the mission. And the shoot down.
Sunk and the boats getting blown out of the water. This friend of mine from down in Jacksonville, Florida, he got sick on the Higgins boat and flying in toward the beach, and he was over the side throwing his stomach up, and the lieutenant says, "Soldier, get your head down. You want to get it blown off?" He just looked around and said, "Who cares?" Yeah. He was so sick. And that fellow today has Alzheimer's to a certain extent, and he can't remember anything that you tell him 5 minutes ago. But you ask him anything about D-Day and fighting in France, and he can quote you every word that's in his memory.
How about that?
As they came, we double and triple checked our position, make sure we're in international waters, and officially we were about 16 miles from the nearest piece of Korean land. Saving Private Ryan has got the bullets right. That's about the only movie that has the bullets right. They started using their 3-inch explosive shells, which just came through the side of the ship and kind of made a mess. And it was that killed the one guy and ended up wounding me and Steve Wolk and Charlie Crandall. And eventually they physically came on board the ship and eventually had tied us up and blindfolded us. And we were held in a few different areas on the ship while the ship was being taken into Wonsan.
They did that interrogation video of me on the second day, and they at that point had thought that I was probably dead because they knew I'd been shot down and I was missing in action. And when CNN got a hold of that video, the Pentagon found out about it, and they managed to call my parents about 5 minutes before it aired. So they got a phone call. I don't know who called them, but somebody called them and said, "Hey, your son's alive. He's about to, be shown on television, and that's all we know." And then they turned the TV on, and there I was.
This was just the third time in the history of the Navy that an American ship had been seized off the high seas. But like I said, it's been such a benefit to my life that I can't begrudge it. Don't want to do it again, but.
Well, I just think we are such a selfless country. We do so much around the world for others that it almost gets taken for granted. We're first on the scene pretty much in any situation. If there's a large relief operation that needs to be run, we're right on it. This is nothing that's emerged lately. It's throughout our history, we've always been willing to take the ball, sacrifice our own well-being in many cases. Certainly devote time and money and finances and all of our other resources to help others. And I think it's just remarkable, particularly in this day and age where there's so much focus on financial success. For us as a nation to still be willing to do that, I think is something that we should be just immensely proud of. And
been saying in closing down is don't forget where you were born, don't forget who you are, and be what you're supposed to be, and look to the future as if everything is going to be wonderful because you have done the right things, and stay on the good side of the Lord and stay on the good side of the law, and just be thankful that you can stand up and say, I'm proud to be an American.
Mm-hmm.